So, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from me here in St John's, Canada. And what a beautiful morning it is here. Temperatures are predicted today to reach upwards of 23 degrees. So that's absolutely perfect weather for what we're going to be doing. We're going to be exploring the city and we're exploring the surroundings over the next few days. And with the weather on our side like this, it's going to be a blinder. But this episode today, what we'll be doing is we'll be leaving my residential area. We'll be heading into St John's city centre via the local bus. And then we'll be making our way up to St John's most famous attraction, and that is Signal Hill. I'll give you more information about Signal Hill when we get there and throughout the video, but now we've got to make our way to the bus stop, and nothing is just a 5-minute walk here. No, it's 20 minutes in either direction for anything you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to the bus stop and we're going to head into St John's. Come on, guys. So something really interesting to note here in St John's is the sky at the moment. Now the sky is very hazy. Today is a sunny day and it should be blue skies. However, the wildfires in Western Canada have spread across the planet, and they've even been seen obscuring the sun in Gibraltar and turning it that bright orange red colour. So yeah, that's the reason today it's not blue skies, it's hazy because of the wildfires. Something I was actually told by a local Canadian lady who passed by. So some really interesting information and local knowledge there. But let's carry on to the bus stop because we need to get this bus because they don't come very regularly at all. I think they're every hour and a half, so I don't want to spend half the day sitting at a bus stop. Come on, guys, we're in a rush. So guys, it's our second day here in Canada and we're waiting for the bus that's going to take us into town, and very quickly it arrives, and in 15 minutes we make it to the heart of St John's. Now we're not going into the town centre just yet. We're going to make our way out of town and head up towards Signal Hill. This is probably St John's most popular tourist site, so come on guys, let's check it out. So here we are guys, we've arrived in St John's downtown area, but we're not going to stay here very long at all. We're going to head up this road just behind us, and it is a bit of a upward walk today to get to Signal Hill, but it's supposed to be worth it. We're supposed to get some absolutely amazing views of the city, so I'm really excited to do this. As I say, it's a really beautiful day today, perfect weather to do this, so let's go and explore St John's and Signal Hill. Come on guys. So let's make our way through the town as we prepare to settle for quite a long hike. Now we can see here some of the colourful houses St John's is famous for. Absolutely beautiful streets, although as you can see it is very hilly. What we're going to do is make our way up towards Signal Hill. Now we're doing this all on foot, and it is a popular tourist trail. There were quite a few tourists from different nationalities doing this walk today, more so at the top of Signal Hill than downhill. A lot of people drive as well. If you've got a car, it's much easier to drive than to walk from the city centre. So what we're going to do is we're going to head up to the visitors centre, and that will be our first stop today because I think they have a cafe there, and I'm starting to get pretty peckish. But if you guys want to learn some old seafaring language, feel free to pause the video here because we've got some interesting information as we make our way around Dead Man's Pond. Got some ducks there, and I think the camera managed to pick up this backdrop superbly. There's some information on Dead Man's Pond, as I say. There'll be a lot of these information placards, so feel free to pause the video when they pop up if you want to find out more information than probably what I know, to be honest. But let's just scan around this beautiful pond. Wow guys, what a steep walk that was from the town centre up to Signal Hill. And we're not even there yet. Signal Hill is up the top of there. We've just stopped here at Dead Man's Pond to have a look around. It's a nice place to sit down and look at this beautiful scenery. Proper North American, proper Canadian background, backdrops. Absolutely fantastic to see. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I got a bit of a suntan today. But let's take a walk around Dead Man's Pond, capturing some of this beautiful nature, and then we'll continue up to Signal Hill. Come on guys. So let's admire the city of St John's from above here, and we're going to get some much better views the higher we climb. But let's just take our last shots here of Dead Man's Pond, and it's absolutely fantastic to be out here in the nature, in the Canadian countryside. Although it's not really the countryside, it is very close to the city still, but it's nice to be out here in the open. Absolutely fantastic to see. You can find some information on how old Signal Hill is. Now, a very interesting fact is that all rocks here found here are older than all forms of life on Earth. So they were there before the dinosaurs, and yes, I did take a rock, so I've got a rock that predates any life on Earth. Very interesting, I guess. What we're going to do, as I said, is we'll leave the pond behind us and let's head up to the visitors centre. I'm starting to get a bit peckish now. You can see signs everywhere saying do not feed the wildlife. That's a good shout actually. I'm sure they don't want your Big Macs or your leftovers from Wendy's. But yeah, let's head up, and we've stumbled across another body of water here. This is George's Lake. Absolutely beautiful as well. We can see a lot of seabirds out there, mainly gulls. Some gannets were about as well. And hopefully when we get to the top we might be able to spot some of the nesting bald eagles, although it's just a little bit out of the nesting time now. The start of June, I believe the chicks may have already flown, but we will keep our eyes peeled just in case we see some interesting nature. And I did see some bald eagles at the airport, around the airport perimeter as we were landing, so I didn't manage to catch them on camera as I was actually filming the flight itself. But here we are, we finally made it to the visitor centre, and it's time for a well-earned break. So we're going to the cafe. Unfortunately there's no sandwiches today, so I just have to settle with this fantastic milkshake. So guys, it's any reason to stop actually today. Yeah, I keep stopping quite a lot. But we stopped here, we had that lovely milkshake just from the cafe. What we're going to do now is we're going to head up the hill and we're going to finally get to the top. No more messing about, no more procrastinating. We're going to get to the top and we're going to see what Signal Hill is all about. Well, I know what Signal Hill is all about thanks to Wikipedia, but we're going to find out for ourselves. Come on guys, let's check it out. So once you leave the visitor centre, you've got two options. You can go and walk up via the road, or you can go via the nature. And that's the way we're going to go, of course. We're going to go through these beautiful fields and along this wonderful path that will take us up to the top of Signal Hill and just take a look at that fantastic Canadian countryside there. Definitely feel like you're out of Europe. Absolutely stunning, and it's amazing to think this is only a 4-hour flight from London. Let's take another look at St John's. Down there we can see the city centre, and there's this wonderful natural harbour that St John's is situated on, which makes it a fantastic stop for cruise passengers. It makes it an important harbour for fishing and also imports and exports. You can also find a Canadian marine base there as well. So very, very interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to pan the camera out towards the Atlantic Ocean, and it's amazing to think the next piece of land from this point here is the Azores. They are Portuguese islands slap bang in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Let's have a little look now. We zoom in. I'm quite pleased with the camera zoom here. We can really pick up the other side. Down there we can see the little cottages that are just there resting next to the shoreline. We can see the top of Signal Hill. This is where we're going, and it's nice to see it's getting closer, as it will be time for a rest again soon. But let's just pan the camera around once more, and what we can see directly ahead of us is Cape Spear. Now this is the most eastern part of North America, the first place to see sunrise in North America as well. And we can see that wonderful backdrop there. The views up here are absolutely incredible, and they are worth the walk alone. So once again we face another staircase on our ascent to the top, and this becomes quite a theme of today's hikes, just walking up and down staircases and hills. But don't worry, I'm still fit. I mean, a little bit exhausted, but nothing I can handle, as I think we are coming to the top now. And look at these views again with Cape Spear just ahead of us, and we can see from these shots that we have managed to gain some altitude, and this just is absolutely fantastic, breathing in that fresh sea air as we walk along the cliffs on the most eastern point of North America. Absolutely wonderful, I love it. But let's just pan around, and we can see actually the city of St John's feels like it's getting further and further away. We can also see another trail going down there. That's one of the more difficult trails, and well, we won't be doing any trails that are too difficult today. We won't be doing the coastal trail. We're just going to head up to the top now of Signal Hill. We're going to check it out. We're going to find out some of the interesting history and why this place is so significant, not only to North America but to Europe and the world as well. I think this is an absolutely fantastic activity to do to kick off our trip here to Canada, and this week we're going to be doing so much. There's loads of videos to come from this series this week. So here we are at the top of Signal Hill. We can see this beautiful, impressive building built during the time when Newfoundland was a British overseas territory. Something really interesting people should remember about Newfoundland is it was its own British territory until 1950. In 1950 it joined Canada, so just remember that when we're looking around. So I guess you're wondering, why is this place called Signal Hill, and what is so special about this place? Well, this place was the first place that Marconi was able to send a message across the Atlantic. So yeah, this is where the first connections between the two continents was established, and that message headed all the way to a little town in Cornwall, which I can't remember the name. But yeah, really, really exciting. But let's go inside the building and let's check it out. Come on, guys. So let's head up the stairs here, and now I believe the entrance fee is free, or at least I did not pay anything, I just walked in. There is a little gift shop here to the left, but we're going to take the stairs and go to the top of the tower. We can see the tower was erected here in the name of Queen Victoria. She was the one that probably opened this tower, so that's absolutely amazing to see, showing its deep connections to Britain and its British history. But let's have a look around, and as I say always, feel free to pause and read the information. I'm not a telecommunications engineer, so I'll be honest with you, this stuff wasn't too interesting for me, but if it's interesting for you, take a look, have a read. I'm just here having my walk around. That's quite interesting though. That is the telephone, I think, that was used to contact across the Atlantic, and this is the little office here where the communications were sent. So I mean, yeah, if you're interested in this sort of stuff, absolutely fantastic to see. But for me, I loved the building, so I was happy to visit it anyway. Let's have a look, and we can see all the different flags here that can be placed on the flagpole at any time. Now that is something I do find really, really interesting as we take a final look inside this beautiful, beautiful building. And what a fantastic idea it was to hike up to Signal Hill. So there we are, we're on the highest point of St John's here at Signal Hill. The views have been absolutely incredible and breathtaking. But from me here in Signal Hill, I think that's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching as always, guys, and I shall see you all on the next adventure.